discovering Montana's ancient sage wall. Nestled deep in the remote, rugged mountains of Montana, USA, lies an incredible and mysterious structure known as the Sage Wall. This awe-inspiring megalithic marvel is made up of enormous, multi-sided granite blocks that are meticulously stacked and aligned to form a perfectly straight line, stretching an impressive 275 feet, or about 84 meters. Many believe the wall extends even further underground, standing at a height of 25 feet, or 8 meters, with some blocks weighing as much as 91 tons. The Sage Wall is a true testament to ancient engineering. Intriguingly, experts suggest that if fully excavated, the wall would reveal an additional 15 feet of structure below the ground, making it approximately 40 feet tall in total. Is the Sage Wall the remains of an ancient, worn-down, man-made structure, or just a unique but natural geological formation? This question opens up a world of curiosity. But there's more to the Sage Wall story than just the mystery of its origins. The Sage Wall was discovered in 1996 by the property owners, Chris and Linda. They moved to this area in 1989, dreaming of creating a sustainable education and retreat center, far from the clutter of typical American life. They aimed to live harmoniously with their land, gradually shaping their space with hard work and dedication. Over 7 years, Chris and Linda built a home and a community space. As they walked their land, reflecting on their achievements, they stumbled upon the wall, buried under debris, fallen trees, brush, and dirt. They immediately knew they had found something extraordinary. This discovery marked the beginning of a journey to understand how this wall would profoundly impact their lives. To enhance accessibility and showcase the beauty of these rocky landscapes, Chris and Linda developed a scenic 2-mile trail system. Along this path, you'll encounter ancient Douglas fir trees, dating back 400 years, breathtaking vistas of the Ruby Valley stretching 20 miles in the distance, and panoramic views of the Highland Mountain Range rising to 10,000 feet above sea level. According to Chris and Linda, living among ancient geological features connects us to a broader sense of time. Instead of just thinking back 600 years to when Europeans colonized North America, or even 40,000 years to the dawn of modern humans, we can touch materials that are millions of years old. In the context of geological time, a human lifespan of about 80 years seems fleeting. Seeing such wonders brings a deep awareness of the value of each moment and a sense of belonging to the vast family of all things. The Sage Wall stands amidst the Boulder Batholith region, a relatively compact expanse of plutonic rock found in southwestern Montana. A batholith, a massive body of cooled magma deep within the Earth's crust, spans over 100 square kilometers, or 40 square miles. It earned its name from the distinctive rounded boulders that characterize its landscape, formed through the gradual weathering of fractured granite. This region is rich in mineral deposits, boasting significant reserves of copper, silver, gold, zinc, lead, and other valuable metals. These resources have drawn considerable interest throughout history and remain economically significant today. The massive boulders scattered across the area are not only a marvel of nature, but also a testament to its geological richness. Humans have traversed and marveled at this landscape for millennia. Native American tribes have long inhabited these beautiful, yet challenging lands, passing down rich oral traditions that include myths of floods, giants, ancient cities, and civilizations. Even in contemporary times, evidence of ancient civilizations continues to emerge. Could this entire land have once been home to a civilization capable of extraordinary achievements, akin to those found elsewhere in the world, only to be dispersed by some monumental cataclysm? This question lingers, adding to the mystique and allure of the Sage Wall and its surroundings. The Sage Wall mystery. The Sage Wall stands out distinctly amidst the natural rock formations typical of the region due to its remarkable features, its straight, angular lines, and the way its granite blocks seem meticulously crafted and fitted together like a giant puzzle. This precise alignment, with blocks fitting seamlessly, is unusual because granite typically doesn't naturally form into perfectly angled corners and edges. This has led many researchers to speculate that the wall might be an ancient megalithic structure, perhaps dating back thousands of years. The reason the Sage Wall is not well known is because it is on private land, away from public and scientific attention. Nestled on a mountainside, it has been concealed for centuries, hidden under a dense canopy of fallen trees and thick foliage. This natural camouflage made the wall incredibly difficult to discover, especially since few people ventured into this remote area. The wall's construction bears a striking resemblance to ancient polygonal masonry found in various parts of the world, such as Peru, Egypt, Turkey, Greece, Easter Island, Japan, and others. This resemblance raises intriguing questions. Could the Sage Wall be one of many ancient megalithic sites that vanished millennia ago due to some cataclysmic event? While many initially dismissed the Sage Wall as a natural formation, its perfectly straight alignment challenges this assumption. Megalithic stone walls worldwide often feature mysterious knobs on their surfaces. These knobs are found in ancient sites across Peru, Egypt, India, China, and elsewhere, yet their true purpose remains unknown. Interestingly, the Sage Wall also had various sized knobs scattered across different sections of the wall. How could these knobs form naturally? What are the chances of finding identical knobs on granite blocks arranged similarly to those in ancient megalithic walls worldwide? The Sage Wall reveals more than just knobs. Across the area, there are extensive channels and additional walls, all constructed from tightly fitted and precisely cut stone blocks, aligned perfectly in straight lines. It gives the impression of a once thriving prehistoric complex, now mostly collapsed and eroded. Moreover, some stones appear to have been intentionally altered. For instance, one stone resembles a granite piece found in Karnak, Egypt, featuring a square cut, a channel, and a circle. Despite severe erosion, these deliberate cuts and grooves are clearly discernible on the Sage Wall piece. Above the Sage Wall, there are smooth, straight chutes descending the mountain slope. These structures resemble polished concrete and likely functioned as water channels. Additionally, numerous stones exhibit round cavities on their surfaces, known as cup marks. These ancient cupules are among the oldest forms of rock art worldwide, dating back to prehistoric times. While their exact purpose remains uncertain, experts hypothesize they served practical roles such as food and material processing, mammoth hunts, and ancient technology. Some speculate that the Sage Wall served as an ancient structure designed to guide water flow. Others suggest it was a remarkable hunting ground. To support this idea, they point to the V-shaped, human-sized grooves on the top of the walls. These grooves resemble defenses for archers in a castle, indicating a strategic advantage for hunting or defense. However, Graham Hancock's initial impression wasn't about fortifications or agricultural terraces. He envisioned the walls as a gauntlet used to spear migration herds of mammoths. The Sage Walls are located precisely where the ancient migration route of mammoths ended. These majestic creatures grazed seasonally on the steppe grass beyond the trail left by the receding glaciers during the Younger Dryas period. The walls likely corralled the mammoths into a position ideal for hunting, at just the right height and distance for effective spearing. The unmistakable stone-cutting technology found worldwide is evident at the Sage Walls. Even here in Montana, without any pyramids detected by LiDAR, questions arise about the origin of such advanced tools. Tools like the worm, drill, and precision circular saws seen at other ancient sites from Chichen Itza to Tenochtitlan suggest sophisticated craftsmanship. The source of power for these tools remains a mystery. Was there a lost power plant? Or did the walls harness water flow for hydroelectric energy? Evidence of the walls caving inward due to erosion indicates flood damage from the catastrophic Missoula flood during the Younger Dryas impact. The wall's elevation likely spared it from further destruction. Hancock suggests that the site could be at least 14,000 years old. It's crucial to conduct LiDAR scans in the area to search for pyramid-like structures, hominid and mammoth bones, and other evidence of advanced ancient technology before the Younger Dryas impact. The accumulation of dirt and sediment along the backs of these walls would be an ideal starting point. Hancock believes this sediment could contain buried treasures. These walls weren't simply built to retain, they were designed for hunting mammoths from a secure vantage point, suggesting buried and eroded staircases might be found on the channel exteriors. Why would anyone meticulously cut and place granite megaliths on both sides of a retaining wall, only to bury them afterward, unless it's similar to Göbekli Tepe, where sediment intentionally buried submerged cities? The answer lies in the soil's composition. It wouldn't be so uniform. Hancock speculates that the surrounding ground of the sage walls is likely flood debris from the Younger Dryas impact, concealing the answers to our mysteries within. The resilience of the sage walls against the catastrophic floods is intriguing, urging for excavation. There are enigmatic secrets here that demand answers. If ancient power tools lacked a major power source, could builders have used batteries? Could this relate to ancient Egyptian depictions of electric eels in containers with wires? Was there periodic water flow through the channels to facilitate the movement of quarried rock? There are more questions than answers. Insights from a geologist. Dr. Stuart Parker, who holds a PhD from Idaho State University and also studied at the University of Montana in Missoula, focuses primarily on studying how mountains are formed and eventually erode. He works for the Montana Bureau of Mines and Geology, where he creates geological maps of the state. His job involves spending a lot of time exploring every corner of Montana, trying to understand the intricate processes that shaped the landscape over time. Despite his extensive exploration of the outdoors, Dr. Parker had never encountered the Sage Wall or the Tizer Dolmen, another geological marvel in Montana, until recently. He was surprised when he first saw them in photographs because these structures were located right in his backyard, where he often goes climbing. Reflecting on his discoveries, Parker noted that while he regularly encounters similar geological formations in his outdoor excursions, the Sage Wall stood out as a particularly impressive example. When comparing the Sage Wall to famous megalithic structures like those found in Sacsayhuaman, Peru, Dr. Parker acknowledged why people might question whether these formations were created by human hands. As a geologist, he sees patterns and symmetry in nature all the time, often caused by natural geological processes rather than human intervention. He emphasized that his training allows him to recognize these natural patterns and understand how geological forces shape the landscape, creating structures that may appear man-made to the untrained eye. Dr. Parker noted that there's a remarkable sense of order in nature. For those who spend less time outdoors, their concept of order often relates to human-made environments. However, in Dr. Parker's experience, he encounters natural order frequently in the outdoors. This familiarity with natural patterns leads him to believe that humans are naturally inclined to replicate this order. From his perspective, the structured formations we see in nature are not exceptional or distinctly human-made. They are simply part of the natural world he explores regularly. Regarding the questions about the Sage Wall and similar formations, Dr. Parker considers the possibility of human involvement, but leans towards natural explanations. As a scientist, he approaches hypotheses with caution, weighing probabilities rather than seeking definitive answers. While he acknowledges the possibility of human construction, he finds that geological processes offer simpler and more practical explanations based on his observations in the field. Dr. Parker's perspective emphasizes understanding through geological evidence rather than assuming human intervention without clear proof. Discoveries and speculations. As interest in the Sage Wall spread widely, the landowners, Chris Borton and Linda, took proactive steps. They assembled a team of scientists, geologists, and archaeologists to explore the site using advanced technologies like ground-penetrating radar, magnetic susceptibility testing, and soil sampling. They also planned future surveys using LiDAR. Although ongoing, their initial findings proved captivating. Initially, they observed an unusual magnetic property in the granite blocks, uncommon for such material. Demonstrating this, magnets adhered firmly to the vertical walls, showcasing the site's strong magnetic force. Moreover, early ground-penetrating radar scans revealed a perplexing discovery. The wall extends 15 feet below ground level, with a conspicuously flat foundation directly in front, characteristics highly unlikely in natural formations. The site also attracted the attention of Dr. Samir Osmanagic, renowned for discovering the Bosnian Pyramid, reputed as the largest and oldest pyramid globally. Dr. Osmanagic journeyed to Montana to investigate the Sage Wall, ultimately concluding it likely of human origin. Notably, he observed the megalithic wall's precise alignment with the winter solstice, a significant find echoing the astronomical alignments seen at many ancient sites worldwide. Dr. Osmanagic pointed out that during the summer solstice, the wall faces southwest, while during winter, it aligns northwest. This orientation indicates that the wall was deliberately built to track celestial events like the winter solstice, emphasizing its ancient astronomical significance. Osmanagic further speculated that the construction of such a massive structure, with stones weighing up to 91 tons, suggests a level of technological expertise that has since been lost to history. This insight underscores the mystery surrounding the builders of the Sage Wall and their capabilities. Dr. Osmanagic also noted that the wall likely dates back to before the last ice age, which ended around 11,400 years ago. Examining historical maps from before the Younger Dryas period, which saw significant glacial activity, reveals the Sage Wall's strategic placement. Situated along the ancient migration route between Asia and North America, the wall took advantage of lower sea levels that connected the continents via a land bridge during the Ice Age. This geographic positioning, between the Cordilleran and Laurentide ice sheets that covered North America around 11,000 years ago, underscores the Sage Wall's importance as a crucial link for trade and travel. Moreover, the area surrounding the wall boasts Montana's largest quartz crystal, now housed at the Mineral Museum in Butte, highlighting its economic significance throughout history. Was the Sage Wall's strategically advantageous location merely a coincidence, or did it serve as a crucial site for early humans? Even if one argues that the Sage Wall formed naturally due to volcanic activity, its position remains remarkably convenient. Considering the wall's ancient age, it has endured cataclysmic events like the Younger Dryas impact, including the devastating Missoula floods. These floods were intense glacial outbursts racing across the landscape at speeds up to 80 miles per hour. Estimates suggest the floodwaters surged to heights of 400 feet, or about 120 meters in some areas. Astonishingly, the Sage Wall survived such impacts. Analyzing the Sage Wall. Dr. Parker analyzed the peculiar knobs found at the Sage Wall in Montana. According to him, anyone who has climbed on granite or desert sandstone would recognize these features. Many of the best climbing routes in the area use similar knobs as holds on big faces. Dr. Parker explained that there are two main ways these knobs form. Firstly, some knobs have a different composition from the surrounding rock. They are darker, harder, and more resistant to weathering. As the softer rock erodes more quickly, these knobs remain, eventually forming distinctive rounded shapes. This process is akin to having a hard object, like a cherry in an ice cube, where the ice melts around it, leaving the harder object exposed until it falls out. Secondly, xenoliths or mafic enclaves, which are common in granite, can also form knobs. Imagine a more resistant rock embedded within the granite. As the granite erodes, this embedded rock creates a protruding knob or dimple on the surface. Over time, weathering breaks apart the granite around it, often leaving behind a small ramp or cone-shaped feature where the knob was attached. These natural processes explain the formation of the knobs seen at the Sage Wall. While they may resemble man-made features at first glance, they are actually products of geological forces over long periods. Are there any theories explaining how such alignments could naturally form, or does their arrangement suggest an intentional design? Dr. Parker broke down the structure of the Sage Wall by contrasting it with examples from Peru. In the Sage Wall, he pointed out two main types of fractures, horizontal and vertical sets that connect multiple blocks in straight lines. These joints are prominent and create long, linear formations throughout the wall. Unlike this orderly arrangement, in Peru, the fractures step often and are not straight, resulting in blocks nested into each other rather than simply stacked like bricks. In Montana, most fractures form long, linear lines with many T-intersections, whereas in Peru, fractures often converge into 4 points. Dr. Parker noted a regional pattern in the joint sets of the Sage Wall, where closely spaced joints running north-south create long, thin features. In contrast, joints spaced wider apart east-west lead to different weathering patterns, resulting in long, linear fins and broken wall-like appearances. Dr. Parker compared these weathering features to others in the region, where weathered rocks leave behind thin, wafer-like formations. He observed that the rocks on the ground near the Sage Wall are composed of the same material as the wall itself, suggesting they are from nearby bedrock. This differs from the Peru example, where the site appears manicured with all boulders concentrated in one area. Reflecting on his observations, Dr. Parker acknowledges that while the Sage Wall resembles natural weathering features he has seen, the ordered arrangement and composition of nearby rocks could indicate human construction. However, he emphasizes the need for significant evidence of human interference to support this hypothesis, underscoring that both natural and human-made origins can be tested through non-destructive methods. Dr. Parker noted that when studying the Sage Wall, we observed specific geological features that indicate the rocks formed in place and have not been moved. These features include veins, dikes, small fractures, and mafic enclaves. These through-going features cut across neighboring blocks, suggesting that the blocks were originally adjacent to each other, and the features developed afterward. Furthermore, Dr. Parker proposed that the joints in the Sage Wall are aligned parallel to the regional joint set running north and south. He anticipated that the rock forming the wall would exhibit different textures, grain sizes, proneness to weathering, and compositions compared to the surrounding ground and neighboring boulders. Despite being less impressive, these nearby features are expected to show similar orientations due to their geological history. Now it's time for today's subscriber pick. A group of archaeologists stumbled upon a prehistoric megastructure discovered in Montana, USA. Sage Wall, an astonishing buried beneath centuries of earth and secrecy. The Sage Wall is a towering structure of immense stones meticulously aligned, standing defiant against time's relentless march. Stretching for miles, its massive stones bore cryptic symbols etched by a civilization lost to time. Each block whispered tales of forgotten kings and celestial alignments, defying all known theories of ancient settlement in North America. As the archaeologists traced the intricate carvings, a chilling thought crept into their minds. Was this colossal structure proof of a lost civilization's ingenuity, or a warning against forces beyond human comprehension? Legends whispered of a tribe whose wisdom was woven into every stone, their secrets guarded by the Sage Wall's imposing presence. With each discovery, the archaeologists felt the weight of history pressing upon them. Who were the architects of this prehistoric marvel, and what drove them to build such a monumental edifice in the heart of Montana? Could the answers lie in deciphering the wall's puzzling symbols, or were they lost forever to the relentless march of time? As dusk settled over the Montana plains, the archaeologists' resolve strengthened. The Sage Wall beckoned with promises of ancient wisdom and untold mysteries, daring her to unravel its secrets. What hidden truths lay buried within the Sage Wall's ancient stones, waiting to be unearthed by those brave enough to seek them? A battle for history and resources. It's crucial to recognize just how much of the U.S. remains largely inaccessible, unexplored, and situated on private land, often lacking the means to uncover its mysteries except by sheer chance. National parks and government-owned lands cover vast expanses, with many regions completely off-limits to the general public. There's also a vested interest in shaping America's history into a straightforward narrative of manifest destiny and civilization. The editing and control of historical narratives are significant issues, with vested interests within the scientific community actively managing how our past is perceived. Ironically, those who should champion new ideas and discoveries often strongly oppose anyone daring to ask, "What if?" This resistance seems contrary to scientific inquiry. But what if this very scenario is unfolding before our eyes, in real time, as questions arise about the Sage Wall, gradually capturing public attention due to its sheer awe-inspiring scale? As interest in the Sage Wall grew, it inevitably attracted attention from those who prefer to keep such discoveries under wraps. As public awareness heightened, so did sudden interest in the area's mineral deposits. Black helicopters appeared, hovering over Chris and Linda's property and the wall itself, equipped with scientific instruments protruding like medieval lances from armored steeds. Notices circulated among nearby residents about forthcoming surveys. Yet what stirred even greater intrigue were the entities chosen to conduct these operations. Rio Tinto, a company of notable stature, emerged prominently in the governmental activities surrounding the site. Rio Tinto, a large multinational company from Britain and Australia, ranks as the world's second-largest metals and mining company. In 2022 alone, it amassed over $55 billion in revenue, tracing its roots back to 1873. While Rio Tinto boasts a storied past, one aspect that stands out is its controversial history of demolishing ancient sites in Australia to facilitate mining operations. By 2020, Rio Tinto had obtained government permits for 327 heritage sites, with plans to destroy 124 of them. 26 had already received approval for demolition. Among these sites, Juukan Gorge gained significant attention. It housed evidence of human occupation in 2 caves spanning over 46,000 years, including artifacts like stone tools, animal bones, and sacred objects, some dating back 4,000 years, even featuring plaited human hair. The timing of the archaeological importance of Juukan Gorge became widely known around 2009. Despite protests from local indigenous groups, Rio Tinto obtained government permission in 2013 to begin mining, which commenced with the use of explosives on the caves. Drawing parallels to the present, Sage Wall is currently situated on private land, shielding it from immediate threats. However, the future remains uncertain given Rio Tinto's expressed interest in the area. What is certain about Sage Wall is its potential for extensive exploration and study. The debate over its origin, whether man-made or natural formation, continues to divide opinions. Regardless, further investigation promises to yield valuable insights into the region's history. Discovering an ancient megalithic culture in North America through sites like Sage Wall could revolutionize academic understanding, not just locally, but globally. It would necessitate a comprehensive reassessment of historical narratives, potentially illuminating why North America diverges from other regions in terms of ancient megalithic structures. Thus, Sage Wall may hold the key to unraveling profound questions about our shared human past. Mysteries around the Sage Wall. Numerous additional anomalies have been discovered near the Sage Wall, adding to the mystery of the area. One such anomaly is the Tizer Dolmen, which features a large boulder perfectly balanced on top of 2 massive split slabs. The first question that comes to mind is, how did that boulder get up there? While this arrangement may be a random act of nature, its precision makes it hard to believe it's entirely natural. Dolmens, or megalithic structures, can be found all over the world, particularly in Western Europe. They typically consist of 3 or more upright stones supporting a capstone at the top. The Tizer dolmen, however, is not technically a dolmen because it only makes contact at 2 points. This fact makes the structure even more impressive, raising further questions about its origins. Many skeptics online suggest that the capstone was deposited by a receding glacier at the end of the last ice age. However, after conducting research, some believe that this explanation doesn't hold up. When looking at maps showing the maximum extent of glacial ice during the last ice age, the boundary of the glacial mass is much further north than the location of the Tizer dolmen. The dolmen is found in the mountains east of Jefferson City, about 20 miles south of the capital, Helena. Every Ice Age map available places the glacial boundary much further north, making it unlikely that a glacier could have deposited the boulder in its current position. Just 100 meters from the Sage Wall, archaeologists uncovered the remains of the Anzac Boy, dated to 12,500 years ago. This discovery was made by two construction workers who stumbled upon a collapsed rock shelter near Wilsall, Montana, on the Anzac family's ranch. The site, known as the Anzac Site, revealed a treasure trove of artifacts alongside the remains. Among these were 100 stone tools and 15 antler tool fragments, all covered in red ochre. These stone points are identified as belonging to the Clovis culture due to their distinctive shape and size. Interestingly, the site also contained skull fragments of a second individual, a child aged 6 to 8 years, found 20 feet east of Anzac Boy. Initially thought to be from the same period, later carbon dating showed these fragments were much younger, dating to around 9,000 years ago, and thus unrelated to the Clovis artifacts. The tools discovered at the site show signs of use, indicating they were not made specifically for the burial. Among the antler artifacts were rods, some beveled, which are similar to those found at other Clovis and Paleo-Indian sites. Although their exact function remains unknown, they might have been used as foreshafts for stone points. Genetic analysis of these antler rods revealed they were made from elk antlers, representing some of the oldest records of elk in North America, south of the Laurentide ice sheet. These fascinating discoveries in Montana not only offer a glimpse into the ancient past, but also raise intriguing questions about the people who lived in the region thousands of years ago. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.